How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Story.
Good evening. Welcome to the April 9th, 2024 Carteret County Board of Education meeting. Thanks for coming out. Up first, we have Mr. Corey Johnson with some West Carteret NJ ROTC students to lead the pledge. Thank you.
Good evening. I have the pleasure tonight to introduce you to a couple of cadets from the West Naval JROTC program. I have to my immediate left Joshua Bretsky, a junior at West, and to my far left we have Owen Timbrook, a senior at West, and they will help us with the pledge at this time.
Please join us in reciting the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Certificates now.
Give them.
Certificates. Hang on, I'm going to pass you out some certificates and pins for participating. We appreciate y'all coming.
And Brian, your dad. Tell me Matt Clark. It's good to meet you. Good to meet you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it.
Now we've got Reverend Dennis Goodwin saying the prayer.
Just join me in prayer. Most gracious Heavenly Father, this evening we initially recognize the military, their families. We honor their service, and we're especially proud for our ROTC men who could be with us tonight. We thank you for the drivers of the Carteret County Public School vehicles, our administrators, both in the central office, and our principals and vice principals. For they're the ones, like all drivers on the road, receive most of the criticism, who do the hard work. We thank you for the engine of our vehicle. That's our teachers, who crank it out each and every day for 185 days every year, who plan and who execute and who pour their heart into influencing young minds. We thank you, Lord, for the wheels of our vehicle, the parents, the guardians, the influential people in our young students' minds. We pray, Lord, that they lead in good directions, that you bless all their efforts and you bless them. And we pray, Lord, for our passengers, our students. We pray, Lord, that you'll keep them safe on the roads of life, that you'll watch over them. And now we pray your blessing on all that we do this evening. In the name of our Lord, amen.
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 So now we would like to recognize our band directors and some students who are honored for all state honors. Okay. So I will read the names of all the honored students and ask them to stand in front of the bench with the band directors to be recognized. From Croatan with band director Kenzie Holland, I have Lee Adams, alto saxophone, 11th and 12th All-State Honors Band. Emily Gorman, clarinet, 11th and 12th All-State Honors Band. From West Carteret with band director Andy Wright, we have James Burdick, clarinet, 9th and 10th All-State Honors Band. Ben Lee, flute, 11th and 12th All-State Honors Band. And Avery Stroud, flute, 9th and 10th All-State Honors Band. From Morehead City Middle with band director Jason Robinson, I have Cleo Dunmeyer, bass clarinet, middle school All-State Honors Band, and Tommy Kellis, trombone, middle school All-State Honors Band, and also for trombone, middle school All-State Jazz Band.
And next time y'all come, bring your instruments.
Could have had a concert beforehand. Avery. Thank you. This is yours too. Derek has it to you. All right, congratulations. Everyone smile for me. 1, 2, 3. Step back first. There we go. Let's give them another round of applause.
Good job, y'all.
Do all of our parents get pictures?
Thank y'all. Good job.
Yes, thanks so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. And thank you to Craig Everett, Director of Arts Education, for his guidance and for escorting the students and directors to the boardroom. Now, April 15th has been designated as Purple Heart Day, and this is the month of the Military Child Proclamation for April of 2024. Whereas, since 1886, the Department of Defense has designated April as the month of the military child, recognizing the courage of military children. And whereas, the month of the military child is an opportunity to remember children's role in strengthening the military family. And whereas, living in different states and countries and often moving numerous times, military children face unique challenges many other youth do not experience. And whereas 24% of the students who attend the Carteret County Public School System are declared as military dependents. And whereas many of the parents and guardians of our students work at the area military bases. And whereas every single school in the Carteret County Public School System has been awarded the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction's Purple Star Award for service to military-connected families. And whereas the Carteret County Public School System strives to provide a safe and nurturing educational environment for all children with additional support for military children. Now, therefore, we, as the Carteret County Board of Education, hereby proclaim April as the month of the military child and April 15th as Purple Up Day, a day to wear purple to show support for military children.
Move to adopt the proclamation as presented.
I'll second that.
All right, so I've got a motion by Ms. Statler and a second by Mr. Day. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Now,
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
I will second that.
all right, so I've got a,
Madam Chairman, we do need an amendment to the closed session.
okay,
That will be at the end.
Okay, that's fine.
awesome. So I've got a motion by Mr. Goodwin and a second by Mr. Jenkins. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All right. And now we're moving on to public comment. It is now time for public comment. Anyone present tonight wishing to make comment should have filled out a request to speak public comment form. To ensure civility, relevance, and time management, there are specific requirements for public comment set forth in school board policy. They include: comments are limited to matters pertaining to public education. The speaker shall state his or her name at the beginning of his or her comment. Speaking time will be limited to 3 minutes per person. A 3-minute timer will appear on the TV screens in the bottom corner. The timer will beep when there are 30 seconds remaining. It will then beep a final time when your time is up. Thank you. For civility and decorum, no speaker shall make obscene remarks or issue personal attacks or insults. No complaint against a school employee or students will be permitted, although this may be heard in closed session at a later date following consultation with the superintendent. Much information about individual students, including a speaker's own child, is confidential under state and federal law, and we discourage and often prohibit such information in open session. The chairperson may immediately terminate any comment that violates these rules. Board members will not respond to questions except occasionally to request clarification. With that introduction, our first speaker tonight is John Menounos.
It's Muniz, but thank you.
Okay, sorry.
It's been butchered since I was a kid.
Okay,
Good evening, my name is John Muniz. I'm a parent of a current Croatan, Broad Creek, and White Oak student. We're here together in support of our children, believing that the central office and Croatan's administration are not providing them with the care they deserve and we demand. Our children are to be the preeminent order of the day every day. This school year, we've experienced Croatan's current principal, dubbed Dictator Davis by numerous Croatan students.
Madam Chairman, the speaker is violating the rule of public comment. And so, sir, I would ask you not to be critical of school employees, but as the chairman has indicated, if you have a complaint against a school employee, that can be considered in closed session.
Would that happen this evening?
It would not happen this evening.
So how do we make that happen on our end?
You will contact the superintendent and explain to him what your complaint is. And if the two of you can't work it out, then it will come to the school board for you to air your grievance against an employee.
So frankly, we're here to air grievances against employees this evening. That's the purpose of Croatan students and parents being here.
Well, that would be appropriate in a closed session if you can't work out the problem with the superintendent.
All right, may I continue and have the rest of my time?
As long as you don't say anyone's names.
Okay. We've consistently seen authoritarian oversight in what appears an effort to reshape Croatan according to the administration's image. The formerly positive culture there has been all but decimated. It's presently a disruptive, tense, low morale learning environment in just 7 short months. Teachers and students tell us they're exhausted and resentful due to arbitrary decrees and cowering in fear of reprisal. I've personally spoken with dozens of students and teachers who are angry and concerned but wouldn't attend tonight for these very reasons. Our numbers would have been a lot higher. I had people call me and email me today. One particular mom texted me yesterday, quote, "My daughter cries every day on her way to school. She's terrified of a certain individual." I wonder if these sentiments and feelings are part of the mission statement of Carteret County Schools. You've heard and will continue to hear numerous concerns and complaints. We've all written you and called. Some of us have talked in person with administrators and yourselves. But it wasn't like this under the previous administration. Others bear significant responsibility. There's a gentleman that has walked lockstep, hand in hand, aiding and abetting and entertaining the young administration's many impulses, which include chopping good, popular, successful, parent-approved teachers and coaches off at the knees. Very poor judgment has been exercised guiding the young administrator. The numerous interactions and decisions have not served the students and the teachers' best interests, nor enhanced this learning environment. Investigation into coaches Beaufort and Reese have been one-sided, partial, and inadequate. There's yet to interview all pertinent parties in Coach Beaufort's case and allow him to be fired, but never investigated a certain teacher and coach at Croatan who announced, quote, to the English department, "I took Beaufort down." During the investigation in Mr. Beaufort, this person opted to conduct interviews with several girls behind closed doors where only men and one girl were present, asking questions of intimate nature without informing or obtaining consent from their parents. Furthermore, he instructed them not to disclose the nature of the questions to their parents, threatening repercussions if they did. For one particular interview, this person left a 15-year-old girl alone in an office with a man to be questioned when there were 2 female administrators at their disposal to witness. I ask you, board members, would you want your daughter subjected to that? That decision that was made is inexplicable, reckless, and frankly downright disturbing. I have a daughter. This person owes those girls and their parents an apology. I've directly communicated with their parents, and they have conveyed the severe trauma experienced by these girls due to his actions. I believe the oversight of our school system does not serve our students' and safety and well-being. The morale has further been darkened this year, deepened distrust, and students have been injured, and for what? So we're greatly concerned.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Philip Eilertson.
All right, good evening. My name is Philip Eilertson, and I'm a Marine who has been stationed here at Cherry Point for the last 4 years and served in the Marine Corps for almost 28 years. I was previously stationed here from 2010 to 14, and my wife and I have 3 children who attended White Oak Elementary, Broad Creek Middle, and Croatan High School. Our son graduated from Croatan 2 years ago, and we have a daughter who's a junior at Croatan now. I'm actually from here, born at Cherry Point, went to school in Craven County, and attended NC State prior to going in the Marine Corps. My dad was a teacher at Havelock High School for 22 and a half years, after serving in the Marine Corps for 28 and a half years. Just like most Marines, when we received orders to come here in 2010, we researched the areas focusing on which schools our kids should attend. We looked up scores, but also asked around about school environments, which is usually an indicator of the principals, teachers, athletic, and extracurricular programs. After moving away for 6 years and getting orders back here the summer of 2020, we researched schools again. At the time, Croatan had a great reputation for scores, teachers, and although it had a reputation as a stricter environment, it was still regarded as one of the best high schools in Carteret County. We asked around via social media and others we already knew that were here in the area. So instead of going to Craven County and Havelock High School where I graduated, we decided to send our kids to Croatan High School instead. Marines have choices, and a lot of influence comes by word of mouth and especially through the Marine Spouses Network. I also know that the schools receive federal funding for each military dependent, so reputations and recommendations matter in this area where military members have choices on where to live and where to go to school. I want to ensure that this next point is completely clear. The email I wrote and being here tonight was solely my idea. No coach or teacher asked me to email the superintendent, principals, or school board, or come here tonight to voice my displeasure. I will say that I thought it was odd and disappointing that I received only one response to my email, and that response did not address any of my concerns. And the response I did receive was a copy and paste, the same one my daughter received. There was no acknowledgement from the superintendent's office or the administration at Croatan, only one email from one school board member. The last 3 years under Principal Zimmerino were great, but this year has been 180 degrees out. I wish he had not retired. Croatan has started to get a bad reputation for firing coaches that love and care for students for minor reasons and given no time to correct any perceived deficiencies, creating an environment where teachers are afraid of being fired and not feeling comfortable voicing their concerns, being reprimanded when they do raise concerns, quitting in the middle of the year, preferential treatment to some faculty and not others, and we know of coaches and teachers that probably won't come back due to this toxic environment. We know of parents that have said they are afraid of retaliation against their child if they emailed their concerns or came to speak at a school board meeting, which is why some aren't here. That is mind-blowing to me and absolutely dictatorial. There's one common denominator in the change at Croatan this year. It is the new leadership. Word is starting to spread, and this will have a negative impact at Croatan for years to come if this school board doesn't act. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Kaylin Watson.
My name is Kaylin Watson, and I was one of the football managers at Croatan High School this year. Our football coach was fired as a coach at Croatan High School partially because of an incident that happened at the East Carter away game in September 2023. There are rumors going around the school that he was fired because he was cussing and yelling at the East Carter ticket taker. I was one of the football managers and only one of the 4 people that knows what actually happened at the game. The principal never once approached me nor the other football manager, Jocelyn, about what happened at the game that night. I'm here to tell you that Coach Reese was not cussing or yelling at the ticket taker or anyone else. When we arrived at the gate, Jocelyn and I were accused of trying to sneak into the game by the ticket taker. Our names were apparently not added to the list yet. Coach Reese informed the ticket taker that we were the football managers and that we were allowed to be there. The ticket taker very sarcastically said under her breath that we should be wearing Croatan attire then. This was our first away game as football managers, so we were not aware that we should wear Croatan attire, but we did to every game after that. She finally let us in, but was yelling at us the entire time. We could not hear what she was saying, and we were not going to continue the conversation. Coach Reese told us these are the people we just need to walk away from before it gets even worse. If this was such a big deal and led to Coach firing us, why did Mr. Davis not contact the witnesses and get their side of the story before believing what another school's ticket taker said? Everyone knows that there are 2 sides to every story. A true leader would try to get both sides of the story before firing someone. Coach Reese is not just a great coach, but also a great teacher. He does not deserve the treatment he has received from the principal. Please bring Coach Reese back as a coach. He's definitely not the problem at Croatan. Everything has changed for the worse since our new principal took over at Croatan High School. Thank you.
Faith Eilertson.
Hello, my name is Faith Eilertson, and I'm an 11th grade student at Croatan High School. I have been at Croatan my entire high school career and played basketball each year. I never played when I started my freshman year and was on the JV team learning everything for the first time. I've worked very hard, and this year I was fortunate enough to make varsity. Even with all of my hard work, I know that I am not the best player on the team, and I'm okay with that. But I'm human, I still get discouraged at times when I want to play more or when I've been taken out for a mistake. I want to share about how one single coach has encouraged me to keep going in a way that no other coach has. He would spend extra time showing me how to correct my shot and did the same with my teammates, just going above and beyond to help me become a better basketball player. I would head to the locker room after a game and feel like I wasn't able to contribute to my team, and I'd be so discouraged. There was one coach that would always recognize where I was mentally, and he would make sure that I was in a good headspace, and that's Coach Reese. Also, I could just be having a bad day, and this coach would see me in the hall and recognize that I was down, and he would encourage me and say, "Faith, are you okay? I can see that your energy is down. Keep your head up. You got this." Or similar encouraging words. My coach actually cared about me and my well-being beyond education or sports. Because of this, I could focus on my education and in sports in a much healthier and stronger way. Why do I say all of this? It has come to my attention that my favorite coach has been told that he is no longer able to coach anymore. This is very confusing to me, so the point of my note is to provide a character reference to Coach Kevin Reese, my assistant basketball coach. He did not ask me to do this, I wanted to. Coach Reese has made me believe in myself and my potential in basketball and encouraged me to be a better person all around. Coach Reese spreads joy, and that is contagious. He has heart in everything that he does, and everyone I know loves him. Coach Reese even made a homemade special meal for the basketball girls. He didn't get paid extra to do that. He just really wanted to because he cares and loves us. He has always gone above and beyond to help others. I hope and pray that all of that I have said tonight will help you reconsider and not take our coach away from us. Coach Reese is absolutely amazing, and I have had some amazing coaches, and I will say Coach Reese is one of the best. I leave with saying this: to take him away is to take a teacher Croatan needs, a coach who leads with utmost respect, peace, joy, kindness, love, faith, and much more admirable qualities, a coach who cares more about my mental health than the outcome of the game. Matthew 7:12 says, "In everything, therefore, treat people the same way you want them to treat you." I hope you treat Coach Reese the same way you would want to be treated if you were in his exact position, by not taking my coach away, please. Thank you.
Tammy Watson.
My name is Tammy Watson, and I have a sophomore at Croatan. Coach Kevin Reese was the 2020-2021 Teacher of the Year for New Bern High School and a district finalist for Craven County Teacher of the Year the same year. He was responsible for building up the FCA club at H.J. McDonald Middle and New Bern High Schools. He won the Everleen Davis Award for Family and Consumer Sciences and was the top FACS teacher in the entire state. He's an elder at his church in New Bern and was recognized in 2019 as one of the 52 Faces of Community for his community services done through the church. He teaches kids about culinary arts and even started the Croatan Cafe, which earns money for the school through the catering services that his classes provide, many times feeding all of you on this board. He has coached football, basketball, track, and baseball throughout his many years as a coach and even organizes the special needs baseball for his community. This man has coached, taught, mentored, and encouraged countless students and athletes and is loved by all. He was even nominated as Teacher of the Year this year at Croatan in his first year there, yet in less than 7 months under the leadership of this new principal, he is now labeled by that principal as having anger issues. He has been fired as a coach and can no longer do what he loves. Mr. Armenta is a retired Marine who technically doesn't have to work and was only there because of his love for the kids. He was a favorite teacher among many of his students, my daughter included, and was given several awards for teaching excellence throughout his career. He was a wrestling coach and was highly regarded for getting freshmen involved in the sport. He had a great connection with all of his students, fellow teachers, and even administration, and never had any complaints against him in all of his years. Yet, in less than 7 months, under the leadership of a new principal, he is targeted by Mr. Principal and told that his students' grades are too high and he needs to change the way he teaches. Teachers don't disrupt their students' schedules and lives by retiring in March unless something is really wrong or they feel they have no other choice. Coach Andy Beaufort has been a teacher for 29 years, but only 3 at Croatan. He is track coach at Croatan for 8 years and was teaching in Craven County and driving to Croatan for 5 of those years. Parents have trusted him with their kids for long travels for track meets. He's led his teams to win 6 state championships and has taken second place 6 times. He is the winningest coach in Carteret County history, yet in less than 7 months under new leadership, he is no longer allowed to coach track. It is told that this decision was due in part to minor things like the boys not wearing shirts at practice or using the activity bus for drop-offs when all other coaches have done so without issues. I just wonder who's next. In less than 7 months, our kids have lost 3 great coaches and will lose more teachers when the school year is over due to the terrible leadership of that principal. Mr. Davis says that his hands are tied and there's nothing he can do when questions by parents. Mr. Paler and Mr. Prost say that Mr. Davis have more authority than what he is saying, and I just wonder who's telling the truth.
Ariana.
Good evening. My name is Ariana Muniz, and I'm a parent of children who attend White Oak, Broad Creek, and Croatan High. I'm here today to express the major concerns about the recent negative climate at Croatan High. Let me be clear. I have come here by my own initiative without any influence from teachers, coaches, or students. It's essential to clarify this to prevent any false accusations or reprimands toward anyone. Valid questions have been made about the leadership and decision-making processes, yet we get no answers. I continue to get told, oh, it's the school board. Oh, no, I can't make these decisions. It's Mr. Paylor, it's Blair. What's the correct answer? Let me take a deep breath. It's imperative that all students and teachers be held to the same standard. However, parents and students alike are feeling frustrated and unheard when expressing their concerns. There seems to be a culture of fear and intimidation when speaking up, and it can lead to repercussions in either the classroom or on the job. Is this the type of culture we want to promote in Carteret County, Superintendent Paylor? Is this the type of culture we want to promote, Vice Superintendent Blair, entire school board? For the sake of time, I only have a few examples that I would like to share. How is it acceptable that the principal is able to approve Mean Girls as a school play, a production that features themes of bullying, gossip, manipulation, and teenage sexuality? The language and content quoted from the play are highly inappropriate for a high school setting. And it's alarming that despite parental complaints, no action was taken, and that play continued. Janice is a space dyke. In spring, we do condoms and choking. And if you like blowing and fingering, you can take your fat apology and shove it up your fat, hairy pee hole, you whore. You're going down, slut. People say I'm a bitch. Honestly, I'd rather be a bitch, so get off your dicks. This is the context. If you're uncomfortable with this, sir, respectfully, if you're uncomfortable with me sharing these quotes from the high school play, then how much more is it inappropriate to be shared at school? How much more? It should make you uncomfortable. Respectfully, I agree with you. It should make you uncomfortable.
Individual employees of the school system.
It should make you uncomfortable.
Then you have a right to.
It's fine. If you don't want to hear me regarding those specific quotes from the play, it's fine. I will email each one of you the script of Mean Girls High School production that was approved at school.
Good job,
I'm puzzled. Lastly, I'm puzzled that our track team didn't receive excused absences from nationals while the cheerleaders did. When I spoke with Mr. Blair, he mentioned state and county codes and how no exceptions can be made, because if we make exceptions for one, then we have to make them for all. But it seems exceptions were made for certain students approved by our principal. Mr. Blair, are you aware of this? Furthermore, I'm deeply concerned about the inconsistency in the treatment of staff members. Like you said, I can't mention any names, but these double standards and lack of fairness are unacceptable. I urge the school board to take these concerns seriously and to provide checks and balances to ensure a positive and safe learning environment for all students and staff. This includes reviewing approval process for school productions and addressing any issues of fairness and consistency in disciplinary actions. Teachers and students and parents should not be afraid to speak up.
Thank you.
Thank you for your attention to these important matters.
Davis.
My name is Gretchen Davis, and I'm a parent of 2 students at Croatan and 1 student at White Oak Elementary. Tonight I have 4 concerns to share. First, as a former educator with over 15 years of experience, I am deeply concerned about the heavy-handedness of this new administration at Croatan. This very young, inexperienced group of leaders have made drastic changes which I believe create a negative and fearful culture within the school. Croatan administrators desperately need guidance. When you are new to a job or an organization, you don't begin with firing and suspending employees left and right. You don't lead with the negative and try to clean house. You watch, listen, and have conversations with great humility. You work with your staff, believing the best of them and helping them grow. Second, our Croatan students see the positive culture of their school deteriorating. Pep rallies are no longer allowed. Senior activities and perks have been taken away. Students can no longer have lunch in classrooms with teachers. Students carry the burden of sadness and disbelief as they hear about beloved teachers fired from coaching, forced to quit, or suspended indefinitely. Instead of building trust and relationships, these administrators seem focused on catching kids and teachers doing wrong. Third, I ask that formal inquiries are made by you, the school board, regarding these concerns. Please don't assume that the superintendent's office or the Croatan administration's actions are always fair and appropriate, even if they appear by the book. In the case of our beloved Coach Reese, I observe a man of excellent character being maligned. I hear the unfortunate, untrue narrative of an angry black man being spread at Croatan without thorough investigation of all involved or thoughtful dialogue and discourse. Croatan desperately needs people of color better represented among staff and teachers because diverse perspectives enrich the lives of all our students. Poor leadership at Croatan is hindering this effort, and I fear we will not retain excellent teachers and coaches like Mr. Reese. And for the record, I am not here because any teacher has asked me to complain to you or to anyone else on their behalf. Finally, I worry about retaliation for my own children and others at Croatan. Tonight, many have chosen not to speak because they are concerned about that. Retaliation is not allowed according to Carteret County School Policy, so therefore it should not happen, but it is happening. As a school board, you work for citizens of Carteret County. You do not work for the superintendents or the administrators.
Coleman Davis.
Hi, my name is Coleman Davis, and I'm a junior at Croatan. I'm the starting quarterback for Croatan High School's football team and have been a student these past 3 years. I also rank second in my class. I would like to address my disappointment with my school's administration and their choice to remove Mr. Kevin Reese from his coaching positions. In my opinion, Coach Reese is the best thing that has happened to Croatan in the time I have been a student there. He has taught me not only football, but how to serve others. Anytime I was having a rough day or a difficult time at school, Coach Reese would notice that my energy was not what it normally is and come to help me. Anytime coaches would get upset at a call on the field, Coach Reese was the first to calmly and collectively say, "We can only control our effort, not the calls made." He has never been the type to yell or scream. Rather, he encouraged us to work on a specific drill or watch a certain play or on film. I have heard rumors that he has anger issues, and when I heard these rumors, I was astounded at the misrepresentation of his character. Not only is Coach Reese the opposite of angry, but he has always guided me in the right direction and made my day better. His energy and enthusiasm for those he works with and teachers is something that I have never seen from a teacher and certainly not from an administrator at Croatan. He is the perfect example of a calm, encouraging coach and has made a huge impact on this school for the better. Anyone who has made claims of him having an anger problem is severely misjudging his character. Another example of Coach Reese's impactful character is his expansive community service efforts. Coach Reese made the effort to organize monthly service opportunities for our football team, and we were able to serve the local firehouse and the elderly home during the season. I will also be volunteering on April 27th for a special needs softball event, which Coach Reese introduced and helps with. Please know that Coach Reese has never asked me to speak on his behalf or argue in any way for him. I and others here have come to defend him solely because of our love for him as a member of this school and because of our frustration with his removal from coaching. Thank you for your time, and I hope you would take the steps necessary to reinstate my favorite coach and person at Croatan High School to his coaching positions.
Kip Rossi.
it going? My name's Kip Rossi. My wife and I moved here about 4 years ago this coming July. I have a junior at Croatan High School, and my daughter is a freshman at Croatan High School. We chose this area specifically for the school system, and up until this year, it's been a good experience. Unfortunately, this school year has brought some big changes and left us feeling dejected and ambivalent about our choice to buy in Carteret County. This school year, Croatan has had 3 athletic coaches fired or forced out of their positions, all of which have directly affected our kids. Our kids have been involved in every sport. It seems like I'm up there all the time. But Coach Beaufort was our track coach, Armenta, a wrestling coach, Coach Reese, the latest victim, was our football coach, and I believe he coached the varsity girls basketball team. The fire of Coach Reese for me was the last straw. It is common knowledge that coaches are often some of the most influential people in a child's life, which couldn't be more true when spoken about Coach Reese. Coach Reese has personally reached out to my son and given him words of encouragement, and also taught him and many other young men the importance of civil service, as mentioned by our quarterback. If the administration and leadership are curious as to why there's so much backlash with the firing of Coach Reese and these other coaches, it's because parents see the positive impact that they have made on our children. In my opinion, I feel that Coach Reese not only deserves his coaching position back, but he and his family deserve an apology from Carteret school system. Lastly, I ask all of you to look at the survey sent to the teachers about the work environment at Croatan High School. Ask yourself, would you like to work there? The culture, attitude, and morale all reflect the leadership of Croatan High School over the past several months. Thank you.
Noah Guerrero.
Good evening, school board members. My name is Noah Guerrero. I'm a track athlete, straight-A student, and a well-respected among my peers. It is unfortunate how ugly this situation is getting. However, as you can see, we cannot ignore any more concerns. The fact that students like myself are able to understand how corrupt our administration is getting just saddens me. I want to bring to your attention some things that have taken place at our public school that just should not be. We need to discuss the intimidation being used as a weapon against kids. Multiple of my friends have faced some sort of threat by administration during the firing of both Coach Andrew Beaufort and Coach Kevin Reese. Kids have been told to keep quiet or else face repercussions. By no means have students violated any rules. Our support for both of these coaches have met legal and appropriate standards. However, administration continues to silence and scare supporters. Even for this very meeting, I have asked students to come and show their support. However, they feel that there will be a target placed on their back if they do so. That's why I speak on behalf of myself along with others that the environment at Croatan has become more intimidating to the extent where students fear speaking up. This is unacceptable in a country that prioritizes free speech and expression under the law. And Coach Beaufort still has yet to find justice. I asked him as my former coach to attend our national track championship in Boston, yet the shackles of injustice prevented him to do so. Our principal told him he cannot attend this or else he would face repercussions. Kind of sounds familiar. Our school refused to sponsor this event, so administration had no power to tell him what to do. And in the end, my coach couldn't see us win because of a false accusation that evidently has been disproven. Rather, rumors were created to justify administrators' actions, which we have also seen with Coach Kevin Reese. They couldn't fire him completely, so they took his love, pride, and joy, track coaching. I hope that my concerns bring to light these things that should never occur in a public area, let alone schools where students should feel safe and joyful. Nothing has been felt rather than intimidation and fear against speaking up against this corruption. Thank you for your time.
Jessica Rossi.
Hey, my name is Jessica Rossi. I have 2 kids that go to Croatan High School, and I want to say I'm deeply disappointed and discouraged by the decision to fire Coach Beaufort. He was not just a coach, but he was an encouraging mentor who made track enjoyable for my daughter and all of these students that you see behind me. Mr. Davis's decision, or The principal's decision disregards the opinions and the grievances of the parents and the students. It's sending messages that their voices don't matter. And additionally, it's very puzzling to me, and I think everyone here, as to why a specific female coach, that is also the English teacher, continues to coach, even though concerns were raised by parents and coaches to that principal and administration for her mental health and her drug use. The mission statement of Carteret County Public School Board reflects a commitment to inspiring, educating, and empowering students for life through meaningful relationships, knowledge, and equitable opportunities. However, the recent actions, such as the untrust dismissal of valuable staff members like Coach Beaufort and everyone else mentioned here, based on trivial reasons, it appears to stem from the principal's personal grievances rather than a genuine concern. It undermines the mission and erodes the trust of the teachers, the students, and the parents. Such decisions not only betray the community's trust, but it also undermines the essence of the board's mission. By failing to uphold its core values of nurturing supportive relationships, delivering quality education, and providing equal opportunities, the board jeopardizes the educational experiences for all the students. Thank you.
Kip Walgreen.
Good evening. My name's Kip Walgren. I'm a Marine at Cherry Point, and my family chose to live in Emerald Isle so that my child could attend Croatan High School for his senior year. We moved to the area last summer from Korea, and we were looking at high schools that had the right balance of academic and athletic excellence. We talked to many of our military friends as well as the coaches from Croatan High School. We decided on Croatan based on the academic pedigree as well as the outstanding running programs, which have produced multiple team and individual state titles in the last 10 years. What I will say is that reputation matters. We chose Croatan based on that reputation, strong academics and great sports teams. I'm here today to express my concerns about the current actions by the Croatan administration to remove Coach Beaufort and Coach Reese from their coaching positions with very little due process, lack of evidence, lack of transparency, or any real investigation that would warrant dismissal from their teams. The current infractions by either coach would seem to warrant a verbal or written counseling at best, but would not appear to rise to the level that warrants dismissal. These gentlemen are solid members of the community. They have dedicated their time and energy to ensure our high school athletes have the best opportunity for success on the athletic field. I believe as a community that we are going down the wrong path if we are prepared to let these coaches go. Many of us have written emails and called the administration, as well as this board, in an effort to understand the circumstances surrounding these two coaches. Some of us have received responses, and many of us have not. And ultimately, we do not believe that they should be removed for the infractions that have been stated. These gentlemen have been committed to making our student athletes the best version of themselves. These coaches did not ask us to be here today. We are here today for our children and the concern that these coaches are being treated unfairly and unjustly by the Croatan administration. We care about the Croatan name, the culture, the product that we put out as a high school and community. We are concerned that these actions by the administration will ultimately damage and erode the Croatan name. As a parent, it seems unethical to ruin the good name of these coaches and discard the great work that has been accomplished by them from an administration that appears to be convinced that that is the only appropriate course of action. I would ask the board to investigate these infractions and ask some common sense questions to whether Coach Beaufort and Coach Reese really deserve to be fired. You have a responsibility to protect the Croatan name and reputation. Is this really what you want to stand for? Thank you for your time.
Lisa.
Hi, my name is Lisa Walgren. Kip is my husband. We have a senior at Croatan High School. I'm here today also to show support for Coach Andy Beaufort. As my husband stated, we chose Croatan based on academics and athletics, but to be perfectly honest, the decision was solely my son's decision. Because we moved him for the 9th time during his senior year, we let him pick which high school he wanted to attend. He chose Croatan for Coach Beaufort and Coach Keesbay. I did not make a complaint sooner, myself or the other parents or the other students, the athletes. We didn't make complaints sooner because when Coach Beaufort was originally suspended, he was told by Mr. Paler in the presence of the Croatan principal that he should not rally the troops or he would be fired. The concerned parents were told to let the investigation play out. Cross-country season ended with a state championship. That was followed by another team state championship or state title in the indoor track. Coach Beaufort missed out on both. Now outdoor track season has started and Coach Beaufort is still suspended. We, the concerned parents, now realize whatever investigation was conducted by the principal was not all-encompassing. No one that could defend Coach Beaufort has been interviewed, and the concerns about the other coach that initiated the complaint against him were not taken seriously. I can confirm that alarming details about that coach were brought to the principal's attention by at least one other parent, but more than that, really. It is mind-blowing to me that a coach that, as my husband stated, helps kids be the best versions of themselves, while I'm specifically talking about Beaufort, obviously Coach Reese and Coach Armenta have the same support. It's astounding to me that Coach Beaufort has been waiting since October for this investigation to be completed. I'm more than happy to answer any questions if someone will be conducting an actual investigation into both Coach Beaufort and the other coaches' situations. I urge you, the board, to make sure appropriate procedures are being followed while also making sure that what's in the best interest of our children is in mind. Mr. Day, I live in your district. You will be getting an email from me tomorrow with some more specific information. And thank you for your time.
Jenny Ingalls.
Good evening. I'm Jenny Ingalls. Obviously, you stated my name. I did not prepare a speech tonight. I've spent a couple weeks praying about how I'm going to handle this conversation. I personally worked for the Department of Education, the Office of Inspector General, for many years. And having been in the Department of Education, I saw how much the public education system has changed. And it's disturbing to me as an individual who grew up in public education, who believes in education, who supports education. I morally could not agree with what was going on in the Department of Education and walked away from it. I have 2 kids at Croatan High School and 2 in private school. I have moved them in and out of public and private school over the last several years because I am so disturbed by what is going on. And from my point of view, what is wrong is that we forget that we're held accountable for the things that we do, the choices that we make, how we treat people, how we represent ourselves and our community and our children. They're watching us. They're waiting to see how we resolve these issues. I have 4 boys, but I am not raising boys, I'm raising men. And I want them to look at the men and women who educate them and have respect for them. They should be their mentors. They should be their leaders. That's their job to mold them. But they're our children, and they're on loan to the educators. So when people in positions of power do not get checked for their behavior, and there are not appropriate checks and balances in place, then you have situations where things run amok. Education is not the priority anymore, and our infighting becomes the focus. So you all have been elected to represent us, and your job is to take that power and get the facts and the information and sit as individuals and adults and appropriately gather all the details before taking an action. But everyone involved has not been heard by you, and they should be. And I'm okay with you having a meeting amongst all of them because you need to hear all sides of it. I also understand that there's some curriculum that one of these teachers is quitting over because he feels uncomfortable teaching it after 10 years of being an educator. If he's uncomfortable, I want to know what that curriculum is because I can guarantee you, as a parent, I would be probably uncomfortable with it too. But when I ask to see the curriculum, the agendas, the syllabuses, the books that we don't have anymore. I don't have visibility of it. So I just ask you that you all get together and have a meeting like adults, because they're watching you.
All right, that's all the public comment for tonight.
Real quick, I'd like to say to Mr. Guerrero, Mr. Davis, Ms. Watson, and Ms. Eilerson, I applaud y'all's courage for coming and standing up here for what you believe in and what you're convicted in. I have a junior at West Carteret, and I don't know that she could do that, so kudos to y'all.
Can I just sign it up? Can I have 30 seconds?
You have 30 seconds, I'm fine with that.
What was the question?
I
would just like to comment quickly that the person that is bragging about taking down Coach Beaufort.
This is inappropriate, Madam Chairman. Inappropriate. He's not signed up, and he is.
Never spoken before, I apologize, I missed signing up. I've never spoken. 30, I'd have been done by now.
It's a board decision, but it's not according to your protocols.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
The person that has accused Coach Beaufort, not saying any names, has openly admitted to having PTSD, anxiety, using illegal drugs to cope with her anxiety, and has tried to commit suicide back in 2023. And this is one of the teachers in our schools that you believed what she said about Coach Beaufort, and not one phone call was made to either of the assistant coaches. One of the coaches, being a female, that's been an assistant for 5 years, not one phone call to either assistant coach, especially a female. Wouldn't that be your first call?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
since it is board policy that we listen and only ask for clarification, I move that we move on with the rest of the meeting and approve the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, can we get a second?
I will second that.
All right, we've got a motion from Mr. Goodwin and a second from Mr. Jenkins. All those in favor with the consent agenda, raise your right hand. All right. And now we've got someone with the Boys and Girls Club coming up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Mark Holtzman. I'm the CEO for the Boys and Girls Club of the Coastal Plain. And I'm here tonight to talk about a pretty exciting project that's been in the works for a while. And I have a bit of a PowerPoint slide to go through. Also brought along with me some impact reports for our club. If your permission, I'd like to just approach and just pass those out.
Go right ahead.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. So the goals of our project, what you have getting passed out in front of you is our two pieces of paper. The first piece of paper is our overall organization. So the Coastal Plain represents 7 different counties and merged around, I think, 2017 with the clubs in Craven and Carteret. And so now we can serve close to 3,000 children throughout a year, just over 200 here in Carteret, and I'm going to go over our different clubs. So the purpose of tonight is to talk about a new club that we want to build and a ground lease on school property, mimicking another project that we had about just over 20 years ago on the Moorhead site. Nothing better than really a brick and mortar standalone club for kids to go to after school, and we're really excited to share this with the community. Currently, we have 3 different locations in Carteret. One is our Sunshine Lady Club, which is up in Moorhead. I'll show you a picture of that one. And then this is one of the 2 clubs that we're going to be replacing with our new club. This is the Beaufort Teen Center, and it's served us for many, many years. We've seen the teen population slowly decline at this location. Partly, we believe, just because of the demographics of the neighborhood has kind of changed, and it's time to get into a better location where we have more of a walkable community around. And then the Beaufort Elementary School. So Beaufort Elementary School is very active, serving around 50 kids every single day. In total, these two clubs are seeing around 80 kids in a given week. And our goal here is to, again, move them together and build a single standalone club behind the Beaufort Middle and Beaufort Elementary School. This is not a new partnership. This is an existing partnership. This is Partnership 2.0 for us. Just over 20 years ago, the organization at that time here in the Boys and Girls Club in Carteret entered into an agreement in 2002 with the Carteret County School Board and the County Commissioners, and into a 30-year ground lease to build this club. And it's currently serving just about 100 kids a day. So what we want to do is sort of build off of that success. Our board of directors has allowed us to move forward with a capital campaign to build this club. And the first thing we have to do is have a great partnership. So currently we're in the elementary school, which is in the bottom left-hand corner of that. And the club site is up in the top corner. It's the red box. The amount of land we're looking for is just around a 5-acre lease. And it's going to be accessed off the side road there on Campen Road. What excites me about this is two things. This first is the younger kids, the elementary, middle school kids can just leave out of the back of the school and go head straight to the club. And then, as you know, the growth track that's really going on is up and to the right, just out of camera view there. All those homes up there. We know teens don't like to ride club buses to come to the club, but if they can see the club and they can walk to it, we're going to get those teens coming there. So we're really hoping we can serve a lot of kids and teens in that community. Our population of kids that we serve are 6 to 18 years old. Just zooming in on the proposed site itself, the building is in white, and of course it will have its own off-street parking. The field just represents just a generic field that we'll put in place, outside basketball. But really the magic happens inside the club. Our clubs are really known for the programming that takes place. And this club will it's going to have a club within a club. So you walk in the front door, and off to the right will be 6 or 7 individual instructional rooms set up for the younger kids, ages 6 to 12. And then to the left-hand side, just below the basketball court, you can see there in the drawing, that will be the teen club. So the teens will have their own dedicated space, which all teens love to have. They'll share the outside space, the playground space, and the basketball court. And this club will operate 5 days a week after school till at least 7 o'clock in the evening. I'm sure we'll have some special events that will run a lot later than that. And then in the summertime, this will run about 10 hours, 10 and a half hours a day, 5 days a week in the summertime to serve the community. Just a little bit more of a detailed shot of the interior. And the capacity of our goal, one of our goals is really to double the amount of kids that we're serving. I mentioned earlier we're serving about 80 kids in a given week. This club is going to be designed to hold about 200 at any one time. And I'm sure we'll have probably close to 400 to 500 kids that would be registered members of this club, knowing that not every kid comes every day to a club. Our hope is that we'll get approval for a ground lease for this location for 30 years. I want to thank Mr. Whitford and the school board and Mr. Paler for the quick work they did in the fall to get legislative approval to enter into a long lease. I believe the story is that typical leases are only for 10 years, and you have to have legislative authority to go beyond that. Mr. Whitford was able to work some magic there and get us on the agenda, and so it was approved by the general legislature for this to actually happen. So it's a two-part step for us. Part one was the county commissioners, and so we made a presentation there just a couple weeks ago, and part two is, of course, to come to the school board and seek your approval as well for this project. As a bonus, which I didn't have ready at the time, It's an actual rendering of the school, of the club. If I can. Didn't have that ready. Didn't have it ready in time for the PowerPoint. Any questions for me?
I'm really excited about this. I live in Beaufort, and my children go to Beaufort Middle, but a lot of times in the afternoons, you'll see the middle school students kind of head towards the highway. There's not much to do in that area, and a lot of kids really don't have much to do after school. The dynamic of Beaufort has kind of changed to where it used to be where the old club was, but now a lot of the younger families, and they've moved further out of town, downtown Beaufort, and so I think this will make it much more accessible and give kids a good place to go.
Yeah, and I think y'all done a phenomenal job in Moorhead, so that, I see that translating to Beaufort, so kudos to everything y'all have done.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the lease as presented.
And I will second that motion.
Okay, I've got a motion from Mr. Day and a second from Ms. Wheatley. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you very much. We're
Thank
very
you.
excited.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
All right. And we've got a budget revision number 2 by Mr. Paler.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be presenting in Ms. Bernotsky's absence. So before you have the second budget revision, the first section of that is only for the state truing up the number of North Carolina virtual public school positions, and we actually lost .45 of a position. That's the first section. The next 4 sections, which is for transportation, the CTE grant, another transportation stop-arm grant, and the textbook allotment. This is just, the state gives us money in allotments, and this is just the spring allotment. So each of those numbers is just for the amount that they've given us in the spring. So asking for you to approve the budget revision to the tune of $177,410.
I make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second that.
All right, so I've got a motion by Mr. Jenkins and a second by Ms. Wheatley. All those in favor of budget revision, raise your right hand. Okay. And now we're going to receive bond project updates.
Similar to last month, there's not a lot of new reports for the bond projects. Broad Creek is progressing nicely, and it will be finished by the summertime, and students will occupy that building starting next school year. West Carteret has begun. They'll be working on a classroom expansion and a new gym, and they've already started to expand the locker room area, so that project is coming along nicely.
All right.
Any questions on that?
When's that supposed to be finished, the West Carteret?
So it's phased. The first phase, which would include locker room, band room, and classroom expansion, hope to be in by next summer. The HVAC work may take a little longer.
All right.
And I will add, if any of you want to go to Broad Creek or West Carteret and tour and see what's going on, I'd be glad to take you, so just let me know.
Okay. We'll receive comments.
So, yes, good evening. I'd like to welcome our staff and students back from spring break last week. I hope everyone had a restful and enjoyable time. I'd like to remind everyone that we have several significant observances honoring the resilience, diversity, and dedication of our school staff community this month. We will be recognizing the National Month of the Military Child, World Autism Month, National School Library Month, and Occupational Therapist and Certified OT Assistant Month. We acknowledge these vital roles these individuals play in enhancing the lives of others. Last week, we also celebrated National Assistant Principals Week, and soon we'll express our gratitude for our Public School Volunteer Week, which will happen the last week of this month. To all who contribute their time, expertise, and support, we extend our heartfelt appreciation throughout the month of April for your invaluable contribution. I'd like to also congratulate Mr. Mike McKay for being named the first runner-up for the North Carolina Tech Director of the Year at the NC TIES Conference that took place on March the 6th. I'd like to thank Mr. Holtzman for coming down and presenting to us tonight. We're looking forward to our continued partnership with the Boys and Girls Club to provide a great service for our students and families. And last, I will note that next month's Board of Education meeting will be held on Tuesday, May the 7th, and that meeting will start at 6 p.m. Mr. Chair, that concludes my comments.
All right, does any board member have a comment?
I'd just like to say thank you to all the parents and to the students who came to speak. Thank you for speaking in person and also for your emails that you've sent. They have been read and have been heard, so I just wanted to say thank you. Your concerns are important.
Definitely. Everybody else? Anyone else? All right, so the next regularly scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, May 7th at 6 PM, and it'll also be live streamed on the YouTube channel.
Madam Chair, I move we move into closed session to consider confidential personnel matter pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A6 and for attorney-client communication, which is the same numbers. Instead of a 6, it's a 3 at the end.
I will second that.
All right, motion by Mr. Goodwin and a second by Mr. Jenkins. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay.